Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. Great to be on first. My name is Mark Jones. I spend my time architecting solutions for Rubrik, who are a data security platform. We've been a public company since April this year. We've got over 6,500 customers worldwide. And I'm going to start the morning with a couple of questions to you all around, are you ready for cyber recovery? Do you have a cyber recovery time objective? Now, we all have recovery time objective. It's a terminology in backup and recovery since the beginning of time, but have you thought about what that means in the context of cyber? So, Sarah put it quite nicely around on the right-hand side is that ransomware attacks are increasing. Thankfully, the success rate is going down, but if you look at how many attacks there are on a daily basis, it's quite an alarming aspect where you also look on the other side of the coin, the worldwide spend on security tooling is going up. We're spending a lot and all of our time, energy, and budgets on security tooling, latest and greatest firewalls, endpoint protection, antivirus, training our users every month on not clicking on URLs, not allowing someone to follow them into the building, all those types of things that we always go through. But ransomware is still on the tear. The number of attacks are going up. So there's a correlation here where we're spending more and more money, but we seem to be getting less and less secure. So it's a difficult position to be in. So we've spent the last 20, 30 years in technology putting all of our energy and budgets into preventing the bad guys accessing our environment, accessing our data. As I said, building firewalls, perimeter security, but there's been very little thought in accepting the inevitable that one day we could be compromised. Have we thought about how we recover our business and how we recover our business quickly? Because you saw all these different techniques that the threat actors are using, and the threat actor only has to get lucky once. As a defender, you have to be right 100% of the time. These folks only have to get lucky once to get access to your environment, whether that's to launch an encryption event or steal some data and hold you to ransom. So a cyber recovery is very, very different to a regular recovery, because a regular recovery is the fact that we know what data was mistakenly deleted. Someone mistakenly deleted an email or a folder or a document, or it's based on we had a hardware component failure at 11 o'clock last night. We can just recover from our backup. We know it's very deterministic, quite an easy thing to do. We know the time of that. But if you think of the fact of a cyber attack, you've got the issue here where do we even have a backup? Because an organization has got two choices in a cyber attack. The first one's pay the ransom. The second one is to recover from backup. So these are the two not very good choices to have. And the threat actors know these two choices as well. So what will they do? 90% of the time, backups are targeted during a cyber attack. They want to remove your ability to recover your business from a backup. So that's what they will spend their time doing. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, they're successful in finding where those backups are, either dwelling in the environment for 9 to 14 days to say, okay, we understand that this victim organization keeps data for 14 days. We're just going to let these backups expire. And then we can launch the malware, detonate the malware, and do what we need to do. So there'll be a dwell time. They'll see how far east and west in the estate that they can get, see what the size of the prize is. So your first question in a cyber attack is, do I actually have a backup? Because if you don't, you're left with option one, which is a horrible position to be in. So in a cyber attack, you don't know what data has been deleted. You don't know the blast radius, as it were, of that attack. So you first need to understand what data was actually compromised. Was it everything? Was it 2 file shares? Was it an entire VMware estate, for example? So if you don't know, you have to assume every piece of data may have been compromised, or you're going to spend a lot of time trying to figure that out. The next question you need to understand or answer is, where's our clean recovery point? Because as I said, the dwell time varies, and the time that these threat actors have been on your estate can vary quite dramatically. So you need to understand, when was the point where our data was compromised? How quickly can we identify a clean recovery point? The issue that we have here is, if you don't know, you're in a position where you're recovering yesterday's backup offline maybe, using third-party scanning tools to try and figure out whether that's clean. And if that's not clean, you're in a rinse and repeat scenario where, let's go to the previous backup, do the same thing. And you can see how this can take a long time. So typically in a cyber attack, 90% of the time is spent trying to answer these two questions. And when we think in 2024, there's certain other questions that we have to answer and certain other regulations that we're held to, because we now need to understand whether any sensitive data was impacted during this attack. Because if you think of GDPR laws, we have I think it's a 72-hour time window where if we feel that one of our customers or all of our customers' data may have been accessed and exfiltrated in this situation, we have to notify them. So if you're in a position where you don't know what the blast radius was, you're going to have to assume everything on the network. You're going to have to assume every customer that you've ever done business with may have had their data accessed and exfiltrated. So you're in a horrible position of having to notify those folks, probably publicly, because you may have lost contact details for some of these folks. So you need to understand the blast radius. Okay, we've narrowed it down to 2 file shares. We understand that it's just internal HR records were on those 2 systems. We now need, we know who we need to notify in that respect. So we can understand that situation quickly. So it's all about speed, because the clock is ticking in this situation. The last thing you want is your organization to end up on Sky News or on the front page of Financial Times, for example. So it's really about speed. And then once you have answered those first 3 questions is, can we find any evidence of the malware across any other parts of the estate? Because the last thing you want to do is to restore some data and then reintroduce these attackers into the environment, because then you're back to square one. So do you have the ability to isolate that malware, quarantine it, which means it cannot be reintroduced into the environment at a later date? And as I say, it's all about speed. And unfortunately, if you've got a separate tool to answer each one of those questions, it's no wonder that you're going to be down for probably weeks, sometimes months, out of operation, unable to service your customers or your employees. So the key to speed in this environment or this type of situation is having an integrated platform, is being able to answer all those questions that we posed there with an integrated solution that's joined up. So how we've architected our platform at Rubrik is to bring the data together with the metadata into integrated platform, which enables us, as we're protecting our clients' data, is to scan, classify that data to understand, one is what sensitive data are we holding here, look for any anomalies inside that backup data, understand known threats. We have feeds from third party, Microsoft being one of them, Mandiant, National Cybersecurity Agency. We take third-party feeds. Microsoft are on the floor day-to-day exhibiting what threat actors are doing, how ransomware gangs, what footprints they use, and how to identify them in the real world. So it's important for us to build that intelligence into our platform so we can quickly identify those new indicators of compromise, those different malware strains, because, as Sarah said, it's constantly evolving. The way a Lockbit gang would affect an organization 2 months ago is very different to how they'll go about things next month. So you have to be up to speed. You have to have intelligent feeds into the platform to enable you to answer these questions quickly. And it's at that point you answer those questions, you can then recover your environment. And it's a 48-hour race, really. And it's quite a sobering thought to leave you with here at the end of my short talk, is that unfortunately cyber attacks are here to stay. I mean, Sarah will probably attest to that, but can you stand up in front of the C-suite inside your organization and promise to the business, yep, we'll be around as well? Because we've got the ability to recover quickly and keep ourselves off Sky News and off the front page of the papers and out the way of any GDPR fines, and we can recover our business quickly. So thanks for listening. And we're here all day, so it'd be great to talk to you later on.